Hey y'all, it's Miss Johnson. I am here to go over the review notes portion. So this is the notes part of the review for Unit 3. I'm not sure why I wrote that because I am about to delete it, but here we are. Okay, so what's going to happen is you're going to fill out this note sheet with me. You can do it on a piece of paper. You can just write all the titles and then write the notes. You can do it on a separate document later, but it does either need to be in your typing or your handwriting, because that's part of the review. This is in place of the portfolio and is what the portfolio is going to look like from now on, right? It'll be very specific headings, and then you'll fill them in like it's a note sheet. All right. So let's get started. Unit 3 is all about quadratic functions. So what is a quadratic function? It is a polynomial of degree 2. And degree just means it's like a number times x to the power of a different number, where the biggest number for the exponent is 2. Degree is the highest exponent. Hilariously, I put this here, but it should be the next thing. That's a 2. What is the standard form of a quadratic? The standard form of a quadratic is this ax squared plus bx plus c format, right? It's when we've multiplied everything out, we've simplified everything, we've combined all the like terms, and we've just got this format. What do we get for free from standard form? We automatically get the y-intercept, right? We just get to read it off that it's 0, c. Pretty good. But we've got better forms, right? What is the factored form of a quadratic? The factored form also has this a term out front, but now is in two binomial factors, where we have a times x minus m, and x minus n. And then just a note, when m and n are negative, our factored forms will have pluses. It'll look more like x plus m and x plus n. But it's a x plus or minus a number with a number up front. But that's why sometimes it has a plus and sometimes it has a minus. Just depends on whether m and n are negative or positive. And what do we get for free, basically, from factored form? We get the x-intercepts from factored form. And we can get all of them from all forms, but, this is the one we get easily. And then these are m, 0 and n, 0. Let's move on. What is the vertex form of a quadratic? The vertex form is, again, has the a out front, and now it's x minus h squared plus k. Let's make that k nicer looking. There we go. And then what do we get for free for vertex form? It shouldn't surprise us. This is a particularly well-named form. We get the vertex, right? And the vertex is h and k. Again, whenever we have a negative in the form, that's when we kind of quote-unquote switch the signs for our answer. And then this plus k, we just read off the k because it's a plus. Right. What is the quadratic formula? The quadratic formula in its actual presentation is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And it gives us the x-intercepts of a quadratic in standard form. And the main reason we'd want to use this is when we can't factor a quadratic. So we can't get it into this factored form, but we still want the x-intercepts, right? So use when you want x-intercepts but cannot factor your equation. All right. Now we're going to take a look at the three verbs that we know how to do. The verbs we've got are factoring. This is the process from moving. Oh, I should have made these things bigger. So here we are. Factoring is the process of moving from standard form to factored form. I still didn't make the blank big enough. And then usually we do this through Xbox factoring, right? The steps for Xbox factoring are create an X puzzle by putting B in the bottom, A times C in the top, and solving it, right? And then I'm going to zoom out, zoom back in. So we've created an Xbox puzzle, we've solved it. We have this like this one here and this one here. Number two, we create the following box. And this is all for, sorry, if it's a standard form, we're going to say that this is our standard form, right? We'll create the following box. We always put the first term of the original equation here. We always put the last term of the original equation here. And then we put our two numbers that we found from our X puzzle in the diagonal boxes. And then solve by finding the common factors of each row and column. And then we read off, right? So we'll have like stuff right here and right here. And then we write the outside factors like that, right? And then the sneaky fourth one is factor out the greatest common factor from factors. And I'll give you an example of that right now. Boom, boom. So, student black. Example. If we want to, let me actually make up an example really fast. If we have our standard form is 2x squared plus 2x minus 24. We want to factor this. We make an X puzzle. We put the 2 here. We put the negative 48 here. Is this looking right? Let's see. We do 1 and 48. We do 2 and 24. We would do 3 and 48 divided by 3, 16. That makes sense. 4 and 12. 5 doesn't work. 6 does work. 6 and 8, that's going to be our ones, right? We want this one to be negative. Right there. Come up over here with our box. We put our ax squared term here. We put our c term here. We put our 8x and our negative 6x here. Then we can decide, let's make this 2x and x. This should be an 8, positive 8. This should be a negative 3. That checks out. So we have 2x plus 8 and x minus 3. And then for an example of what this final, example of what this final step is talking about. Sorry, I got had to get all there to get there. When you're at this final step, it says factor the GCF from factors. That just means when we've got this factor, a 2 and an 8 are both divisible by 2. So here is where we would want to say, let's factor out the 2. Let's reverse distribute the 2. 2x divided by 2 is x. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And then this is our beautiful factored form with our a out front and our m and n in the factors. Right, move on. Next is the process of moving from blank form to blank form is expanding. So expanding is, that's funny, it expanded. Let's make this bigger. The process of moving from factored form to standard form is called expanding, or honestly, just multiplying. So this is when we start with something like this, and we end looking like this. So our first step is write our factors on either sides of a box. Right, so we have like x minus n here and x minus m here. Then our second step is to multiply each sub box. So this would be x squared, this would be negative mx, negative nx, and positive nm. Third thing would be to write the sub boxes in like kind of like standard form. So we have y equals a, and where the factors were, now we just write this instead. I should have done this with real numbers, sorry y'all. And then number 4, last is simplify by combining like terms. These are the like terms. Scroll down. And distributing the a. And I will also give an example of this. Actually, cut off that stuff. Okay, so an example. We were supposed to expand this. If we're going to expand this, the first step is to make a box, write our factors on either side of the box. We're going to fill out the box by multiplying the left and upper sides of each of the sub-boxes. I'm going to rewrite my equation as x squared plus 5x minus 2x minus 10. I'm going to combine my like terms. So 5x minus 2x becomes 3x. And then I'm going to distribute the 3 and multiply each of these things by 3. And now I'm in standard form. And the last thing we want to take notes on is the verb completing the square. We want to say that's going from what form to which form. Completing the square is going from standard form to vertex form. This is not something we're going to be tested on this year. It is something cool to know. It's in one of the videos prior. But for right now, we just want to know that that is the process. That's the verb we use when we go from standard to vertex form. All right, y'all, that is the note portion of the review. For your test on Monday, you should feel comfortable and confident doing all of the types of problems on the computation part of the review, and then answering any like fill in the blank vocabulary type questions from this portion of the review as well. All right, go team. I'll see y'all on Monday.